Hi guys, International Trade Secretary Liz Truss was responding to a question by a Labour MP about steel exports from Wales into the EU. Now, because of the Brexit trade deal, there's going to be a negative impact on the UK economy, and especially when it comes to trade. And he asked this question of Liz Truss about safeguards. Now, Liz Truss responded, but it didn't make a lot of sense. Let's hear the question and how she responded to it.
Mr. Speaker, 60% of Wales's exports have been to the EU, and steel is of great importance. So given that the government's own Office for Budget Responsibility forecasts show that the Brexit deal would lead to a 4% reduction in our GDP, and given that they're removing the safeguards on steel in June, will the Secretary of State accept that the overall amount and value of exports from Wales in the next 5 years will be less than it was in the previous 5 years due to the government's own policies?
Well, first of all, we're not removing the safeguards in June.
What are you talking about? We're not removing the safeguards in June. The safeguards are not yours to remove. Look, this is from UK Steel. This was published on the 17th of December 2020 and is titled UK Steel Guidance Update 1 Exporting into EU Steel Safeguards in 2021. And it says, at the end of the transition period, UK steel exports to the EU will, for the first time in almost half a century, become subject to import restrictions. So we knew about that. Whilst the EU does not have any standard customs tariffs on steel, it currently has in place safeguarding measures. The EU has safeguarding measures which apply a tariff rate quota system on steel imports from all third countries. These will apply to the UK from the 1st of January, regardless of the presence of a trade deal. They will run until at least the 1st of July 2021, but could be extended beyond this period should the European Commission make the decision to do so. After considerable efforts made by the Department of International Trade at the behest of UK Steel, the EU, the European Commission, has provided the UK with its own tariff-free quota to come into effect from the 1st of January. This means that the majority of steel exports to the EU from next year will remain tariff-free, with 25% tariff only due or once if these tariff-free quotas run out in each quarter. However, there are a number of product categories where it is evident that quotas will not be sufficient to allow for exports from the UK to the EU to continue continue at recent levels, I imagine. The details of the EU quotas can be found. Okay, and it goes into more detail there. So the problem with the safeguards is not that the UK removed the safeguards, it's the EU that decide the safeguards.
When we were part of the EU, decisions about safeguards were made on an independent basis.
What? So is that a benefit? Or is that a problem?
And nobody on the other side of the House complained about that then, but they seem to object to independent decisions being made when we are a sovereign nation, which...
What are you talking about? Really, I'm not an expert on this, so maybe I'm misunderstanding something. But the safeguards are on the EU side, are on the importer's side. You want to export, and the EU have these safeguards in place. But how is it? Once again, I have no I'm struggling to understand what the hell Liz Truss is talking about.
I find utterly bizarre, and I don't agree with his pessimistic prognosis on the future of Welsh exports.
But that was the government said this. It was a government report that said that GDP will drop, not a Labour MP, not some guy from Wales. It was the government's own report that said this.
I think we've got massive opportunities. More beef exports, more lamb exports, more car exports, more aerospace exports. And that's what we're going to be doing through our new trade and investment hub in Cardiff, is going to be driving those opportunities. And I urge the honourable gentleman to get behind it.
So you just believe more in Brexit. Believe in Brexit and it will succeed. Once again, I don't know if this is a a legitimate complaint I have, but I seem to think that Liz Truss doesn't understand these safeguards. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?